Hi guys, hope you are having a good time here and welcome to the Colombo Blockchain Developer Meetup 6th one. So today what I'm going to discuss about mainly is the total session is going about oracles, especially blockchain oracles. And my session is as you can see the title, can blockchain talk to the world? So let's start. So first of all, you'll have a question why blockchain need to talk to the world? So more than can blockchain talk to the world, why blockchain need to talk to the world? So as it's mentioned in the description, to make the smart contracts work more efficiently. So if you are already into the blockchain space and doing smart contracts, you know that blockchain cannot make API calls outside, or it cannot talk to the other blockchains as well. So those are the restrictions that we have in the blockchain space. And it's simply to make smart contracts work more efficiently based on the real world conditions. To explain it simply, for a scenario if you are predicting weather conditions based on blockchains, but you have you can do some kind of bettings and things you can say, okay, it will be going to rain tomorrow or it's going to be sunny tomorrow. But the blockchain can't understand whether it's raining tomorrow, it's sunny tomorrow, because there should be someone to need to say that it's rain tomorrow or it's sunny tomorrow. So that is the simple case why we need oracles. So, but as I mentioned, blockchain has no way directly accessing these APIs, weather reports or something to get the data, whether it's rain or not. And also, if you're getting from any central parties like a weather station or something, we need to have some trust on that. So blockchain comes as a decentralized one, so it's not able to put a one person to say okay, it's rain or not, because it's always not kind of a data sets. It's deal with the monies as well. So it's very difficult trusting a single person. So again comes to the question. So as I mentioned, blockchain need to talk to the world. It cannot talk to the world by itself. So still have the same questions, can blockchain talk to the world? Yes, it can. So it can by using blockchain oracles. So that's where the blockchain oracle comes. And so now comes to the scenario what is oracle? So oracle is an intermediary part. It's kind of a bridge between the blockchain and the real world. So you can take blockchain as a decentralized separate world, and the real world scenarios will happen in the real side. So how you can bridge both these together? So that bridge will comes as an oracle. So it's kind of a concept. You can call it as, it's kind of a term. So it's not a technology, but it's kind of a term or a concept called as oracles. And that will be blockchain cannot able to independently gather those information. So the oracles comes and bridge this gap between these two. So you can see the web world and the blockchain world. So the oracles will come in the middle and bridge this gap. So this is one of the another use case. So you can see it. So I'm not sure the animation is not working. So I'll explain through this. So there's a user and there's an organizer. So if there's a user, you can take it as an event like this meetup. So you are the users coming to the meetup and we are the organizers. So when there's an event is going to happen, users will ideally need to pay a ticket and book the money. So book the money and paying money, and they book the tickets. So for that, if you're using as a blockchain system in that one, we can ideally we can't send the money from the user to organizer straight away, because we are not sure whether the organizer is a trusted party or whether he'll be going to organize this, because we are sending our monies to them. So what we can easily do is we can create a smart contract there. So the smart contract will get the money from the user in a kind of escrow account. So it will be kind of a locker. The monies will be goes from each participant who are coming for the meetup to that locker account. And then the organizer will need to organize that event. So once he organizes it and once he done it successfully only, he'll be get the money from that escrow account to himself. So until that, the money will be locked in the account. And if he didn't do that meetup, the money will be released back to the users who are registered for that. But how the oracles comes here is you can't ask the organizer to say whether you hosted the meetup or not, and you can ask the users to say whether the meetup happens or not, because those two are already in the system and they have put their monies inside, so you can't trust them. So for that, you will be using oracles. So oracles comes as an external party who comes to the meetup and say it happens there and he witnessed those things, or else it's not be a single person or even not a human. It can be a device as well. So it's not be a single person. So you can get all the event participants there, and you can take majority of the people's decision. So if the majority of the people says okay, it happens there and we witness that one, so then the money will be released from the escrow account to the organizer. So that's where the real world events and real world practical things happens in the real side. You want that oracles to inform that to the blockchain to kind of triggering that smart contract to do the next steps. So as I mentioned, the oracles, it's not only a human or not only a software. So it can be anything of this. So it can be a hardware device. So it can be a sensor that taking a sensor of this room colds, and it sends the temperature to the blockchain saying that, okay, it's not cold, it's not hot, so those informations. So this will be ideally mostly used in supply chain scenarios where we keep the fruits and vegetables in the trucks and even warehouses. So for that, we can't ask the warehouse owner to enter the temperature data. So we are not trusting them. So we use these sensors, and sensors will be automatically send the information to us. Okay, in this time, this is the temperature is there. So those informations will come from kind of hardware oracles. And there will be software oracles, like you can keep a software to kind of APIs to send these informations, but those are kind of trusted APIs. So they need to have a blockchain account, and they'll be sent those informations through that. And as I mentioned, the human oracles will be there. And there will be another two things like inbound and outbound. So inbound oracles is you can keep as a smart contract triggering another smart contract, or a information coming inside the blockchain that comes as an inbound. And the outbound is like if there's a smart contract triggered, still blockchain can't make anything to outside world. So it's triggering inside the blockchain's world. So for that, we have outbound scenarios. So when there's an event happening inside the blockchain, there should be a person, or there should be a software, or there should be a device to let know the real world that this event is happens inside the blockchain. So that will comes as a outbound oracles and consensus-based oracles. So as I mentioned, the 51% of the participants. So we'll be take a majority of the things, and we'll be get multiple people to agree, and based on that, we'll be take a decision for that, whether this event is happens or not, or whether we are gathering the data like if it is rain or not. So we'll be gather data from there and take the majority of decisions. And as these are the type of oracles, you can mainly focus on like web APIs, payment authorities, other blockchains, and event data. So event data are the ones I mentioned, the lab reports and the kind of organizing the meetups and those things, those comes as event data. And if it goes for web APIs, those comes as like different, if you have a central applications, we are talking with multiple web APIs, but the blockchain cannot talk it. So we can have an oracle for that. Oracle can talk to the APIs, get the information, and then push it to the blockchains. And we have payment authorities. So if anyone was experienced with the exchanges, what happens is like you put the money there, cryptocurrencies, and you want to transfer, like convert to a real fiat currencies. So what will happen is blockchain cannot convert it straight away. So blockchain will be make a request, and it will be goes as a money to a central real fiat account user, and that account user will be convert that to a fiat money and put it into your bank. So that's where the like PayPal and HSBC, those banks and payment gateways comes. So those will act as oracles in some scenarios. And other blockchains. So if you have a blockchain scenario in Ethereum, you have smart contracts, and you are making hybrid blockchain, so you have another blockchain like Bitcoin or Stellar in other side. So these both can't talk. So you need to have kind of an authority or an oracle person there who will be gathered the information from other blockchains and give it to another blockchain. So that gap between those two blockchains will be filled by the oracles. And to make it more into use case kind of a scenario, so as I mentioned, the supply chains. So supply chains where the oracles is mostly used kind of thing, and we already using those things in for our supply chains. So one of the supply chain scenarios is like lab reports and testings. So if you get an organic certificate kind of thing, and you are producing a apple or vegetables, and you are saying that it's an organic one, and if you are putting that information straight away to the blockchain, no one going to believe it, because it's your farm and your vegetable, you are saying organic, no responsibility there. So there's the oracle comes as a lab staff and things. So the lab staff will becomes, and they'll be test those apples and vegetables and say like, okay, it's actually oracle one. So it's actually an organic one, and they'll be put those informations through their oracles. So that's where the supply chains comes, and even like you can see these below parts like farming, post-harvesting, so there will be multiple sensors will be used. So not all the data can be gathered from the users, so we'll be use multiple sensors in the warehouse, in distribution trucks and all. So those will be feed the information back to the blockchain. So it's like this product is moved from Gold to Colombo. So those informations will become from say, like sensors and things. So that will becomes as an oracle used in supply chains. And then other cases in medical scenarios, like if you are using a blockchain in medical scenarios, like storing medical records in blockchain, you can't ask the doctor or someone to straight away store it. So they need to do some lab testings and like procedures and stuff. So then they'll be collect those informations and feed it to the blockchains. So that's the one of the use cases in medicals, and even the medical side, you can say like clinical trials and pharmaceutical supply chains will come there. So pharmaceutical products goes there. So what is the temperature that you need to store the pharmaceutical products? And the medicines, what is the temperature you want to store? So those things will be comes and feeded through oracles. And one of the other industry, like whatever we are talking about blockchain, we cannot leave finance industries because that is the first one got disrupted by the cryptocurrencies and even blockchain. So we cannot leave that. And even if you take this as a finance and insurance, so one of the important case in insurance scenario is like if you have a flight delays and flight insurance claims. So if the flight is got delayed, there's no way that if you're doing a decentralized application on insurance and you want to claim flight delays through blockchain, but you can't claim it straight away because blockchain don't know whether the flight delayed or not. So for that, you can appoint an authority from an airport or something like that, or else you can get all the passengers comes together and they'll be give their opinion that whether flight delayed or not. So these kind of event occurring operations and stuff and the data will be comes through oracles to the blockchain. And main use of the blockchain oracles for now is the prediction markets. So the prediction market is like, there are famous blockchains, oracles like Augur and stuff. So what they do is like they predict these things like events like elections, results and stuff. So you can put your money to betting kind of thing. So you can say like, okay, Mr. A or Mr. B going to be a president. But what happens is after the elections, blockchain don't know who is the president. So for that, the oracles will come and feed those informations there, saying that, okay, Mr. A or Mr. B got the president, and then based on that, the betting monies and prediction markets funds will be released there. So that is one of the use case that oracles used in the prediction markets. And all the other things like, you can say like travel, charity, energy. So all these scenarios and all these industries are ideally using oracles in a way that they know, they're not known, but they're using oracles as a way to get the information through that. For example, if we get charities, like people are giving money through blockchain for charities, but we don't know in the real world whether it's given to a right person or not. So those informations will become through oracles. And real estate, transport, so all these kind of informations will be fed through oracles. And even if you take it as an education scenario, like if you're storing your certifications and degrees through blockchain, there should be a person who sees your grades and say like, okay, you got actually passed and you're putting this information. So he will be act as an oracle from the real world, how your manual certification goes through transferring to a blockchain world. And as I mentioned, like we are working on Tracified as a supply chain product. So we are the places that we are using blockchain oracle. So one of the things is like check the quality of the product and blockchain-based certifications and limitations. So these certifications and limitations will be viewed by a normal person. We cannot do using IoT devices and stuff, so it will be seen by a normal person or an organization, and they'll be provide these certifications. And check the quality of packings. So when the packings comes as a user or as a customer, we'll be check the package is good or not, is damaged or not. So it can be only viewed by person as a person, and will be feed the information. So, and this is one of the blockchain-based supply chain, and we are putting the use cases. As you can see, each block storing information about kind of a drinking yogurt, and it's come from the milk, and it's mixed with the orange flavor and comes as finally as a drinking yogurt bottle. So this is the whole supply chain product we have, and if you're going trace back, you can trace from when you're buying as a milk product, you can trace back to the genesis starting point, where it's made from, where the milk comes, who made the milk, and which farm it's grown the oranges, so you can check every information. But the interesting thing is, like, as I mentioned, if you are a farmer and you have organic certification, but if you have orange and you say like this is the organic orange and you are feeding the information straight to the blockchain, it's not work, because no one is going to be trust the farmer. Because if we are trusting the farmer, there's no need to be a blockchain. We can do the same thing with the centralized applications. So this is a trustless thing, so we need an oracle for that. So that's where the farmer will be send the app orange back to the lab staff, and lab staff will do the checkings, and they will be create a contract, triggering the contract saying that, okay, this is the organic one. Or if it is not an organic one, they will be say like, okay, this is not organic. So the information will be come from an oracle called lab staff here and comes to the blockchain. So other people who are seeing that, ideally known by the people can see it like who tested this one. As a lab staff, as an oracle, they'll have a public and a private keys. So if they do something wrong as it's a person, so the oracles can even cheat. So once the oracle can cheat those things, like we'll be penalize them. So we can see it because we record through public and private keys, so the information come from there. So later point, we can even use another oracle to do this lab test, can say like, okay, what you did was wrong. So we can penalize them as the monies. And these are the cases that mainly we are using oracles in this yogurt supply chain. So first, when we are getting the milk, we'll be use the oracle to check the density and the quality of the milk. So that really comes as a quality check as an oracle who will feed the informations. And then when you comes as a warehouse, there will be temperature sensors and things will be input the informations. And if it comes as the orange lab stuff will be input, and if it goes for the sugar, they'll be have a certification body say that, okay, you have this much of farm, you can produce this much of sugar from this farm, so you can't produce more than that. So if you're producing more than that, means like you're using some illegal stuff to produce more growing stuff. And there'll be authority to say like, okay, if you have like get around 500 liters of milk, you can produce only 50 bottles of orange drinking yogurt, so you can't produce more than that. So those limitations will be put by the authorities, and even the containers and the transport vehicles will have the sensors, and even the customers in one point will come as oracles, so they put their reviews back to that. So those reviews, customer reviews will act as an oracle, and they'll be put the information back to the blockchains. And as I mentioned, like even we are saying about oracles and they are main pillars of this blockchain, bridging the blockchain between the real world, but they require trust as well. So that is the main difficult factor in the blockchain scenario, because no one trusting any other ones. So it's like you have your data, you have your money. If you are transferring to another person, you need to trust that person as well. So if we are getting information from a real world and it's a more accurate, we need accurate information. So we can't expect them to do like put fake information to that, because they are the authorities, so they are the oracles. So for that, we need a trust for that, and that is the one of the limitations that we have in the oracles. And there are a couple of ways to solve that as well. So one of the ways, like we can use multiple oracles. So we don't need to trust with one person. We can use like 100 persons or 200 persons, and we can get the information from there. And even we can use multiple data sources. We don't need to rely on one as a human. We can rely on hardware, human, and even a consensus-based oracle. So we can gather from everything, and we can get a consensus-based agreement from that. And the third one is like skin on the game. So when the oracle is putting some information, what we can do is we can, when they feed in the information, we can get some coins from them as a coin, and we can lock it in the system. So when the information is ideally get verified only, we'll be release some money from there, or we'll be incentivize them. But if we find that the information they put is, the information that they put is a wrong one, so we can easily go and penalize them, because we have the control of their money. So through that, we can make the people work genuinely. So it's the same concept as how the mining works. So when you're doing the mining, you lock the money, like you are wasting your computation power. For that, you are not going to do any bad things. You will be always motivated to do the good things, so then only you can earn something back. So the same principle we can use for oracles to make them work genuinely. And the trusted executed environments, so those comes as a hardware devices, and there will be enclave applications. So using those things, we can say like, okay, these hardware applications are not get hacked by any other things. Because if you're using a sensor and if the sensor get hacked by other things, so the data will becomes as fake informations. And for that, we can use the trusted execution environments. And that's all for the Oracle introductions, and I hope Kenny will be do more about the use case scenarios into their depth as well. So thank you.